glitching out and we have to keep restarting these live streams, but please subscribe because we do keep coming back every single time. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan by subscribing, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations by subscribing, and put 3 in the chat if you're an anti-vegan troll by subscribing. Double tap the live, please share on your socials. Our first disclaimer is that we are not here today to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. We're here today under our right to protest. We're here today for our freedom of speech. We're here to defend animals. This is a slaughterhouse and we are live streaming. Our second disclaimer is that we are not here today to judge non-vegans. We're not here to point fingers or to clash or butt heads. We're here to come alongside you, turn your head against the industry that have lied to you. When good people hear what the industry have told them, they get really angry at the industry, not the vegans. It's not us telling you this information like the false information. We're just telling you the truth. Ask yourself why an industry that relies on secrecy to profit and make money. So I'm just a bit distracted there. The police have just stopped. The police may circle around and come back. The police were looking at what we're doing. What I was trying to say is this industry pretends that it runs off of transparency, but actually it runs off of secrecy. And the only reason why they make any profit is because of the secrecy and lies to the members of the public. Subscribe and 1 in the chat if you are vegan. Subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations and you're a good person. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if being kind to animals triggers you. Double tap the live stream. Please like, share, and subscribe. A little mixture there today, beeps of thumbs up and beeps of triggered trolls, but you know, all of the trolls, thank you for helping the algorithm push up and get the animals seen. Now to get the animals seen, we need the likes. So please double tap the live stream to get at least 50 likes before the first truck comes here today. I can see that there are animals in the lairage and we can smell that they are killing animals and hear the bellows of mercy from inside.
Yeah, guys, we've got awesome activists in the chat right now. Any activists, can you keep putting in the chat, like this live stream, because it helps. We need the likes in the live. We've noticed that that's what gets the algorithm out, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks guys, we really appreciate it.
9 likes right now.
Cool, all right, so we need 50 likes. Let's go for 50 likes before 11:45.
Thanks,
We've
guys.
got just over maybe 7 minutes to get the 50 likes in. Guys, if you want to know what happens inside slaughterhouses, if you want to know why we're here, go to the link in the description, top 3 buttons in the top right hand corner, click the Linktree link and then go into the top 1 and watch Dominion and the one underneath and watch Pignorant. Then scroll to the bottom and see Help Going Vegan from John the Bodybuilder Vegan and the Vegan Squad coaching team. Please go and watch them documentaries, you'll understand why we're here. Oh, it smells so bad.
Every so often you get a whiff of smell.
Oh, and poor animals. This place is disgusting. Subscribe and 1 for vegans, subscribe and 2 for non-vegans who are good people, and subscribe for free if you're someone who gets triggered over being kind to animals.
Legends, thank you vegans putting in the room. Subscribe,
Thanks,
like,
guys.
comment.
Thanks, guys.
And Rio Tunes, remember my cat needs meat products because he is a carnivore. What would you say to that? Thank you for bringing up that point.
Thanks for bringing that up, and it's really important that, yeah, you have a moral obligation to not hurt animals to feed your animals, so you can go and get vegan cat food. Is it Omni who now do vegan cat food?
Omni and Just Be Kind.
And Just Be Kind do vegan cat food. Same as vegan dog food. How would you justify feeding your cat if you could only feed them other cats? Could you say to one cat, I'm sorry, but I'm going to execute you to feed this cat? Or would you say, I'm going to execute this cat to feed this cat? Same with dogs. You can get a vegan dog food, vegan cat food, and no animals get hurt and your animals thrive.
And they actually live a longer and healthier life as well. Please look into that. We got 12 likes now.
Subscribe and 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person wondering why vegans are outside of a slaughterhouse live streaming. And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're an anti-vegan troll. Double tap the live stream. Please share on your socials. Remember, we're not here today to clash. We're here today to educate. And we want you to go into the description of this live stream and watch Pignorant and Dominion. Top links in the link tree.
Steph Edits put, do you know what a food chain is?
Yeah, I know exactly what a food chain is. And let's steel man your food chain. Let's put humans at the top, animals underneath, and then plants at the bottom. So if we can survive and thrive off of eating plants, then that's the moral obligation. It's the most ethical position to be in. You don't cause as much harm as you can all the way down. You can live happily and healthily by eating plants and avoid all of the pain, suffering, exploitation, commodification and murder done to animals.
Someone put, why are you doing this? There's no point of There's no point nothing of doing this. I think there's no point of doing this.
No point in doing it. Well, actually, thousands of people have gone vegan because of our live streams. In just over 12 months, we've had over 200 million views live outside slaughterhouses, and we have seen hundreds of thousands of people go vegan as a result of being told the truth. You're never told the truth. Non-vegans are never told the truth. You're not even shown the transparency. You are fed a lie, and that lie is humane, necessary, ethical. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, 2 in the chat if you're a kind person but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if being kind to animals triggers you. Double tap the live stream. Please share on your socials. The lies like the RSPCA assured scheme, the red tractor certification, they're all there. They're marketing tactics to make good people never critically think about what happens to animals. Why, when we come here with a camera to show you just the animals going in, do they go to great lengths to hide it?
Yeah, Love Letter put, you can't get all your nutrients from plants.
Yes, you can. That's a completely anecdotal opinion, because scientific facts, peer-reviewed evidence, go to nutritionfacts.org. You can get all your nutrients from plants. That's just you saying, I'm too lazy to look into it. That's when your why I should be vegan isn't strong enough. You haven't seen the truth yet. You haven't seen the evidence of what actually happens to animals. When good people see what happens to animals and they have an empathetic, compassionate heart, they don't want to be responsible for that anymore. Let me explain to you some of the things. Like dairy cows, for example, only produce milk because they're mums. So being non-vegan, you're paying for forcefully impregnating them, stealing their babies, kidnap, and then murdering them when their milk production declines. That's what you're responsible for. Did you know that? Or did you just believe that cows eat grass and produce milk? Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap, we need the likes. How many likes are there?
Right now. 25 likes right now. Let's
right,
get
we
50.
need another 25. We need another 25. We've got 3 minutes to go.
Spidey Edits, thank you for bringing up this point. What about your clothes? You probably get them off a cow's skin.
No, all of our clothes are vegan. Imagine standing out here saying that animals should have rights whilst I'm wearing the bodies of animals. But thank you very much for bringing up this point. Veganism is not a diet. Veganism is an ethical position in life. It's a philosophical position where you remove your exploitation and use towards animals. You don't wear them, you don't test on them, you don't bet on them. They're not forms of entertainment, you don't eat them.
We've got David in here, who's an ex-slaughterhouse inspector.
Hey, David.
Vegan for 12 years. Ask him questions if you want as well.
Yes.
And other activists will help you as well. What turned you vegan, Steve?
The dairy industry turned me vegan. I was listening to Joey Armstrong, an amazing activist. Hey guys, amazing. They were 2 very solid thumbs up of recognition and agreement there. That was great. I was watching an amazing activist, Joey Armstrong. Go into the description, go to the second documentary, Pignorant. That's his documentary. Go and watch that and subscribe to his channel. I was listening to what he was saying about the dairy industry, similar things to what I was telling you just then. How can you justify impregnating mums, letting them carry their baby for 9 months and kidnapping them? How can you justify executing males a couple of days to a couple of months old because they don't produce milk? How can you justify separating mother and baby, stealing her breast milk and executing? I was thinking, this guy's making a load of sense. Oh, maybe I'll try that soy milk everyone's talking about. And then guess what I saw? I'll tell you what I saw, but after you subscribe and hit 1 for vegan, subscribe and hit 2 for non-vegan but you're a kind person, subscribe and hit 3 if you are an anti-vegan troll and you're triggered by people being kind to animals. Double tap the live stream. What I saw is a mother cow having her throat slashed open inside of a facility like this behind me. And that was enough to make me vegan, because I realized I was personally responsible for her being there. And that's exactly what you need to know. If you're not vegan, the fact of the matter is you are personally responsible for animals dying in slaughterhouses. Don't feel like they're going to be killed anyway. You're far removed from the chain. You are right there. Subscribe and 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan but you're open-minded to why we're here, subscribe and 3 in the chat. If you are triggered by people being kind to animals, double tap the likes and like the live. How many have we got now?
We've got 42 likes now.
All right, we were 8 away from our target. We need 8 as fast as possible. We got 1 minute left to get 8 more likes. Double tap the stream and like it. Animals are coming here today. This is a slaughterhouse. We are live outside here bringing you the truth. Like the disclaimer said at the beginning, we're not here to clash for non-vegans. We're not here to point fingers and say you're a bad person. We're here to come along with the education. You've been lied to by the industry. Did you know that 6-month-old piglets are sent to gas chambers for bacon sandwiches? Did you know that sheep have something done to them called mulesing for wool. The wool industry is violent as well, by the way. People often talk about dairy and eggs, but I'm going to talk to you about the wool industry, and you're going to be absolutely shocked. But before I tell you about the wool industry, subscribe and put 1 and let us know if you're already vegan. Subscribe and put 2 and let us know if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. Subscribe and put 3 if you are someone who is triggered by people being kind to animals. Double tap the live. How
68
many?
likes. Let's get to 100.
Nice, good. Right, now let me tell you about the wool industry and why the wool industry is so violent. Have I got time, or do you want to swap
No, yeah,
in?
keep going. You can do that.
Listen, animals have been selectively bred and genetically modified to however the humans wanted to optimize productivity for profit. Now, sheep have been genetically modified to produce an obscene amount of wool. They have to be sheared because if they're not sheared, they can get fly stroke, they can get bacterial disease, they can get all sorts of infections, they can fall over and not right themselves. Very dangerous. But sheep traditionally would never have had this problem. They would have molted just like your cats and dogs at home. But guess what? Humans come in and we messed up the system again, and we genetically modified them to grow obscene amounts of wool. I'm going to continue this, but first of all, we need to know. Subscribe and 1 if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. Subscribe and 3 if you're anti-vegan and you're triggered by being kind to animals, and double tap the stream. We need 100 likes as fast as possible. Now, excess wool, they're growing loads of wool. We need to shear them. We've made this problem. Farmers then come along and say, we shear the sheep because we care about them. They're the problem in the first place. The farmers are lying to the members of public saying that I'm doing a good deed of a problem that we caused. And the reason why we caused the problem is because we sell the wool for profit. And then they realize, oh, when the wool production slows down, what we can do is we can execute the animals, chop them up, and we can use them for pies, and we can just sell lamb chops and lamb steaks. Oh, great, so we can get 2 income streams from 1 animal now. Amazing, let's do this. So now they have to produce more and more and more. The flocks get bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, we can't keep up with shearing the animals so regularly. What do? I know, we do a thing called mulesing. They turn the sheep upside down, they cut their tails off, or they band their tails until the blood flow stops and drops their tails off. And then they slice the backs of their legs from their bum hole all the way out. They just, no anesthetic, scissors, and they slice the backs of their legs. So it forms obscene amount of scar tissue where hair can't grow. So when they poo, they can't get feces stuck to their wool and they don't get fly strike. And now the farmers are telling you that they're doing that because they care about the animals. Absolute bullshit. Yeah. Farmers are liars. Subscribe, 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. Subscribe and 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Let's get as many likes as we can. How many likes have we got?
95 likes.
Right, let's get 100 likes as fast as possible. Keep going with the likes, guys. Remember that we are here today not to antagonize, not to clash. We're here today just to come alongside you and explain what's going on. But we need to know one thing from you. We need you to subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. We need you to subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. And we need you to subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are someone who is really triggered by someone saying, hey, let's be kind to the chickens, let's be kind to the cows, let's be kind to the little baby lambs and piglets, and double tap the stream.
Oh, David, thank you so much for your kind super thanks. That's so kind. He put, I'm a #1, subscribe and liked, watch Dominion the movie 2018 on YouTube. Yeah, thank you so much. That's
Thank
really
you
kind.
very much, David. Yeah, and go and follow David. David does lives as well all over. He's over in Canada, and he's an ex-slaughterhouse inspector, a wealth of knowledge, asks questions. Subscribe and let us know, guys. 1, if you're vegan. Subscribe and let us know. 2, if you're not vegan but you're a kind person and you're just thinking, why are these vegans outside of a slaughterhouse live streaming telling us all this information? Be curious. Subscribe and also let us know if you're a crybaby troll, if you're someone who's really triggered by someone saying let's be kind to animals. Double tap the live stream. We're live outside of a slaughterhouse to bring you the facts. I just told you a lot about the wool industry. Let me tell you about the egg industry. Now, chickens who are exploited for eggs and chickens who are exploited for their bodies, they're 2 different breeds of chickens. Okay, so egg laying hens, only females lay eggs, right? So guess what happens to the males who are born into that industry? I'll tell you after you've hit subscribe and 1 for vegan. 1's in the chats, let us know you're here vegans. Subscribe and 2's in the chats for the non-vegans who are kind people who are just listening to what we're doing. Subscribe and 3 in the chat if you are triggered by being kind to animals, and double tap. How many likes are on there now?
114 likes.
Okay, so we need 150 likes as fast as possible. Get the likes coming in. Now, in the egg industry, if you're born male, you get put into a blender, an open blender on your first day of life. Imagine that. And at 18 months old, when your egg production declines, a little bit like when the wool drops from the wool industry, it declines. You're no longer any profit. You're a commodity. You're waste. You get sent to the slaughterhouse. Egg-laying hens are executed in gas chambers at 18 months old. Subscribe and 1 for vegans. Get the 1's in the chats for the vegans. Subscribe and 2's for the non-vegans who are kind people, and the subscribe and 3 for the anti-vegans.
Stacey just put, I thought being vegetarian was enough, but the dairy and egg industries are just as cruel as the meat industries.
Serious, is that a serious comment from Stacey there?
Yes,
amazing, Stacey. Yeah, you've got it. Vegetarian is not enough. Vegetarian is a market employ from the industry. It's just like the industry is a business, right? So they market product A, which is all animal abuse and exploitation. They then market product B. If you don't want to eat animals anymore, at least pay for the dairy, at least pay for their eggs. They catch people at all these different levels to keep your money coming in at all these different levels, when the only moral and ethical decision to do is to be vegan. The only way to live, if you don't want to be responsible for exploiting animals, is to be vegan. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you've already done that. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're a kind person, but you're not vegan yet. You're just listening to what we're saying, and we really appreciate you being here. And I want to make a point for number 2s that we're not here to judge you or point fingers at you. We were in your position not too long ago. 5 years ago, I would have been listening to this as well. And subscribe and hit 3 in the chat if you're an anti-vegan, if you're someone who gets really upset about people saying let's be kind to animals. Make sure you double tap the stream. The likes are really necessary for when animals come here, we can show you them. Now I want you to take note of how much great lengths the industries go to hide the truth from you, the consumer. Now this is the slaughterhouse that we're outside of right now. Now I want you to take note of the 16-foot spike fences. I want you to take note of all the CCTV around. I want you to take note of the netting over the gate so no one can see what happens on the inside. The other side of that gate, there is a cattle grid, so any cows that do escape will fall down in that cattle grid and they will snap their legs. 2 security guards the other side of that netting who are there on their sole job today is to push that gate forward and pull it back faster than any electrical device can. Now ask yourself why an industry that prides itself on transparency hides so much. When a non-animal truck turns up here, do you know how long it takes for them to open that gate? About 5 to 7 minutes. When an animal truck turns up here, that gate is open and closed within 20 seconds and the animals are driven through there at speed. Ask yourself why. Subscribe and 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person listening to this today. Thank you for being here. Subscribe and hit 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan and you don't care about animals and you're mega triggered by people saying let's be kind to chickens, and double tap the stream. Please make sure, I'll say it again, subscribe and 1 for vegan, subscribe and 2 for not vegan but kind people, subscribe and 3 for anti-vegans. Double tap the stream. We're here today to bring you nothing more than the truth. And if you want to see the truth, go into the 3 dots in the top right hand corner, click on the Linktree link and go to the top documentary Dominion and watch it. Then go to the documentary underneath it, Pignorant, and watch it. And then go to the bottom and get Help Going Vegan from John the Bodybuilder Vegan and the Vegan Squad. Know what's actually happening because the industry have lied to very good people to make you pay for some of the most horrific violence.
We're on 154 likes right now. Let's get to 200 before the next truck turns up. Where are we? What are we doing? And what made you vegan? A few questions in one, sir.
Okay, well, we're outside of a slaughterhouse. This is an ABP slaughterhouse. They murder and execute cows from the dairy industry and cows from the meat industry. What made me vegan was the dairy industry. I'll tell you why. Subscribe and 1 for vegan. Subscribe and 2 For non-vegan who's a kind person, subscribe and free. For an anti-vegan, double tap the live stream and please share on your socials. I saw the dairy industry, I saw a dairy cow being executed. I found out that dairy cows don't just eat grass and produce milk. I found out that they were mums. I found out that their boys are executed in the first few months of their lives. I found out that the females are put in isolation hutches away. And then you know what? We went and investigated these farms. I've been there myself. Go to our main channel and go and see us. We go and investigate them. We go into the farms late at night, early in the morning, and we go and see the reality for ourselves. But we're not here for welfare. We're not here to say greener grass, bigger cages, sharper knives. We're here for animal rights. Animals should have the right to their bodily autonomy and their life. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and you are no longer responsible. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you are a kind person but you're not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are someone who is really triggered by people saying let's be kind to chickens and lambs and piglets, and double tap the stream. I'll just say that again. Subscribe 1 for vegans, subscribe 2 for a non-vegan who's kind, subscribe 3 for anti-vegans. My gosh, what a waft of smell that's just come over us here. I can hear cows bellowing from inside the slaughterhouse from where we stand.
It stinks so much. People will never understand the smell. We're on 168 likes right now. Let's get to 200. Steve, why are you here? And people are saying dairy cows not killed for cow's milk.
Okay, so if you don't believe dairy cows are killed for cow's milk, stay on the stream. You're going to see dairy cows come past you. If you also don't believe and you don't want to stay on the stream, then go and click on the link in the description and watch Dominion. Go and see what happens in the dairy industry. Now, the reason why I'm here with Mel today is because I once paid for this. I once was responsible for this, and I didn't know. When I was non-vegan, by the way, I would have classed myself as an animal lover. I would have said that I'm the biggest animal lover. If you see me around any animal, even pre-vegan, I go all mushy, I go all funny. I love to rub bellies. I love to give animals affection. I love animals, and I've always loved animals, but I wasn't always vegan. I was disconnected, and then I became connected, and then I understood, and then I realized how I had made animals suffer and die in slaughterhouses. I'll tell you more, but I need you to subscribe and put 1 for vegan. I need subscribe and 2 so we know if you're a good person but you're just not vegan yet. And I want everyone who is anti-vegan to subscribe and put 3 so the world knows that you are someone who's upset when people say let's be kind to piglets. And please double tap the live stream.
Oh, it's truck.
Truck, here comes the truck. Listen, this is going to be better if you do this and I do this. Do you think? Or do you think I'll do it?
No, you go for it, you go for it.
All right, I got it. Watch, look, these puppets over here have already got the gate ready to go. They already know. They phone ahead. They don't let the world see this. Watch how quick they get this truck in. Watch how quick. You can't hide from us. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Oh God, it's so high.
Oh. The slats are up as well.
I got it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, you dear individuals.
How do you sleep at night? Come on, do something different for once. Absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific.
We'll catch the unloading as well.
Trucks are so high. You're going to catch the offloading?
Yeah, I'll catch the unloading.
Subscribe 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. That trailer there, in my opinion, is a slave truck. Animals are on there about to be killed inside this very building. They're going to be killed in here today for optional products that you don't need. You don't need cheese. You don't need cow's milk. You don't need burgers. You don't need steaks. You don't need any of these things to survive. They need their life. Their life to them is absolutely everything. Their life to them is exactly what matters. Subscribe and hit 1 if you're vegan. Subscribe and hit 2 if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. Subscribe and hit 3 if you're triggered by people trying to help animals. And double tap the live stream. I'm just going through the slow-mo footage. I'm going to see if I got them.
Yeah,
that truck was so high, but you're going to see them coming off here.
Are they dairy cows or beef cows, do you think?
I can't see this yet.
I'm going to hold this camera here, guys, so you can see the unloading. They're being unloaded into a slaughterhouse where they're going to be killed because people are not vegan. Now, we used to pay for these places, but we didn't know what we were paying for. Please put green hearts right
Dairy.
now.
Oh my gosh, they're so young.
Dairy cows.
Young dairy cows.
We'll show you on the live in just a moment.
Young dairy cows inside here. Young dairy cows.
I'm just going to film their unloading and then we'll show everyone on the live stream the faces of the poor cows from the dairy industry who are about to be killed inside this place today. It's not your fault that you don't know. The industry hides this from you. We're not here to say you're a bad person, but we are here to defend the animals from people who just don't know the industries yet.
Subscribe and hit 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and hit 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded.
Steve,
to these
take my phone so you can see if I'm right.
That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. You doing? Are you okay up there?
Yeah.
All right, just get them unloading, get them seen by the world.
What happens before the unloading? What happens first?
What happens before the unloading?
The paperwork switch.
Yeah. They'll come in and they'll come and sign papers. And listen, dairy cows are sold on how much they weigh. So often 20% of dairy cows are pregnant. So look, I'm not saying this factually, but I'm saying that there is a high percent chance that on this trailer that you can see on your screen right now, there are pregnant mothers from the dairy industry with babies inside their stomachs who are being dropped off at this slaughterhouse to be executed because people want to go and buy cheese, burgers, yogurts, and put milk in their tea and coffee from her. That milk is being made for the baby that's inside of her stomach. And this is the industry that you support if you're vegetarian or if you're not vegan. This is the urgency, and this is why we speak to you with this urgency, because you need to know. This is what the industry keep hidden from you. Why does over 99% of humans believe that they're cows? Why are we told that cows eat grass and produce milk? Why are we never told the facts? Because if you told anybody with compassion that you are separating families, kidnapping babies and executing mothers for breast milk, anyone with a brain and a heart would be vegan in a heartbeat. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to why we're here. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are upset and triggered by people being kind to animals. When you have other options, there is no justification. You have all the options under the sun, in supermarkets, wherever you are, you have options to not fund this industry. Absolutely horrific. I've got the slow-mo here of the dairy cows. We're going to show you in a minute. We're going to capture the offloading, and this is their last moments. This little bit of breeze that they've got now is the last bit, a little bit of sunlight.
They're about to be offloaded now. I can see the gates come across.
The gates coming across. Oh, the smell. I can only imagine what they're going through. And poor babies. This is an absolute injustice. I cannot believe that humans are standing by and not only just allowing this to happen, but they're doing it. Do these people here just leave their morals at the gate and not care? These people, when they finish work today, they'll go and stand around general public. People who are responsible for stabbing animals to death all day will go and stand next to you in the supermarket queue, and you wouldn't even know. It's absolutely sadistic. It's crazy. These animals don't want to die. They want to live. What was that?
They just dropped the back down. The animals will be coming off now.
Subscribe 1 if you're vegan. Subscribe 2 if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to this conversation. Subscribe 3 if you are triggered by people being kind to animals. I can see the screen. Are you okay? Are your shoulders okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're doing a really good job. Here they come. Oh my gosh. Poor angels. Poor angels. They're so young. They're not old cows at all. Not that any age is acceptable to be slaughtered at.
These are who we're trying to defend. That's who we're trying to defend.
You're seeing them in their last moments. This is their last moments. These animals, by the time you go to bed tonight, these animals will be executed. These animals are going to have a bolt gun in their face. They're going to be hung up by their back leg, and they're going to have their throats slashed open. They're going to die on the kill floor, surrounded by friends and family who they've come here with today. They'll be looking at each other as blood pours out their neck, wondering what crime they committed, what they done wrong. What did they do wrong to be executed for no reason? They're being executed for an optional product. This is not fair. This is an absolute atrocity. The bellows and cries. You go to a sanctuary, cows don't bellow like that. These are bellows of cries of mercy. This is upset cows. They're not happy in there. They're bellowing because this is a strange place. It smells. I can smell the death from here, and I'm about 50 meters away from where they're going in. I cannot believe that I'm so close, yet I can do so little. The only thing I can do is tell the world what's happening. And the only thing that you can do is go vegan and stop being part of it. This system needs to stop. This system needs to end. This is violent oppression. Imagine if this was your dog, if this was your cat. Imagine if this was your family member. It's so eerie. People walking through in white wellies and white coats and brown overalls, gone to the kill floor to execute these animals.
They're tiny.
They're so small. They're so small. They're babies. They're babies. I saw on here. They're really small. Subscribe. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe. Put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations and why we're here. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals, double tap the live stream, share it on all your socials. We're here today not to judge. We're here today to get this education out. We're here to show the world what happens to these animals. We're here to bring it to light because good people are never shown the truth. Good people are never given a chance to do the right thing because they're not told the truth, they're told a lie. They're told that this industry is humane and ethical. If this industry is so humane and ethical, then why is it so secretive? Why are there spiked fences keeping everyone out? Why is there CCTV stopping everyone? Why is there so much secrecy involved? What do you do to the animals outside of the gate? What happens to them? Why can the world not see if what you do is so ethical and so humane and so okay? And why is it so hidden? This is such an atrocity. Let me show you. Let me show you on here.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll be there all day.
Can you see?
Bye.
Not sure you can see. We have to mic. I'll get the umbrella 1 second.
Get the umbrella, rewind this. Guys, while we get this set to show you the animals on there, subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, and subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Let me try again.
It's what keeps me up at night. I literally cry every day for these poor animals. Call the police on us, by the way.
Okay. Babies.
Look how many crammed in there. 1,
I know.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like they're crammed. They can't move. They're literally stuck
Absolutely
together.
crammed in there. Babies destined for the slaughterhouse for optional products that you do not need. Optional products that you do not need. Absolutely horrific. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're triggered by people trying to be kind to animals. I want to just reiterate that today we are not here to clash. We weren't born vegan, but we saw what you've just seen. We saw an injustice to an individual, and it wasn't comfortable in my heart to continue to pay for that to them. I wouldn't do it if it was a dog. I wouldn't do it if it was a cat. I wouldn't do it if it's a human. So why am I doing it if it's a cow, if it's a chicken, if it's a pig, if it's a fish? Why? There's no logical reason, and when you connect, you understand why, and then you realize you should have moral consideration for any animal who has the ability to be sentient and to suffer.
Jace has just gone vegan. He said, I didn't know this happens. And someone else said, why are they going in there?
Amazing. Thank you for going vegan and seeing and hearing the truth. The reason why them animals are going in there, because the industry that they're born into demands that they go in there as a commodity, as a profit margin. It's a supply and demand industry. Every time you go to the supermarket and you buy even 1 litre of cow's milk, 1 small block of cheese, 1 packet of eggs, you are creating a demand as a consumer. And that demand demands the next animals to go in there. Every animal in this industry is executed as a baby. Not that any age would be acceptable to be executed, but let me give you an overall rundown. Dairy cows are executed at around 3 to 5 years old. Males in the dairy industry are executed at days to months old. Egg-laying hens are gassed at 18 months old. Meat chickens are gassed at 42 days old. All babies, because the industry relies on profit and turnover. They're going in there today to die so someone can eat them.
So that truck has now unloaded those animals. They're now moving into where they tell the live what
Yeah,
they're doing
so
now.
once they've offloaded animals, they go into a wash area on the left-hand side here. The reason why they need to wash the trucks down is because animals like you are sentient. They have a fight and flight response system. They have an autonomic and somatic nervous system. They literally will defecate everywhere out of fear. If their stomachs have any food in it, they get so scared. We've seen these trucks turn up and animals have been pooing on animals and weeing on animals, and their eyes are wide open because of the intense fear. Subscribe, and 1 if you're vegan. Subscribe, and 2 if you're not vegan but you're open-minded as to why we're here. Subscribe, and 3 if you're anti-vegan, you're against standing up for defenseless animals. Double tap the live stream, please share. Now, another thing that happens in the dairy industry, where cows are so horrifically exploited with their breast milk, they get depleted. It's often termed downed dairy cows in the industry, and this means a mother who has had baby after baby after baby taken and breast milk after breast milk after breast milk stolen until her body can no longer stand. They shackle her legs to stop her from splaying, and she often collapses. Now, often when they're on these trucks coming in here, it's the last bit of energy. They go down on the trucks, and it's not uncommon for dairy cows to be slaughtered on the truck. Therefore, they have to wash the blood away from where they execute and dismember them in front of their friends and family.
Someone just said they've just learned that pigs are killed in gas chambers. Is this true?
Absolutely, and please go into the description of this live stream, click on the Linktree link and go to Pignorant. It's the second documentary. Pignorant is by my friend, or our friend Joey Armstrong and his team, and he shows you inside of UK gas chambers where 6-month-old piglets are sent into CO2 gas chambers to die. CO2 gas chambers, by the way, forms carbonic acid on any mucousy membrane. It basically essentially means that these animals will burn from the inside out. Pigs have been known to rip their feet off trying to evade the cage that they're lowered down. CO2 gas is heavier than air, they're lowered into it. Pigs have ripped their feet off trying to get back out.
Someone said if this happens, why aren't the RSPCA stopping it?
The RSPCA actually have an RSPCA assured logo. It's a stamp of approval to say that the Royal Society, the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, authenticate this method or authenticate this farm, etc., etc. The RSPCA assured scheme made over £4 million in profit. The reason why they're there is to condition the public more. When Mrs. Smith, your general member of the public, wanders into her local supermarket and she sees RSPCA assured milk, she thinks the animals are looked after, the RSPCA are there, the good guys are there, nothing bad can happen. We probably take a little bit of excess milk, but all the cows are looked after and then they go to sleep and it's fine. This is what that logo does, and this is why the RSPCA Assured Scheme exists. Why does it take animal rights activists like Joey Armstrong, Animal Justice Project, Animal Rising? Why does it take Animal Aid? All of these animal justice, like animal rights organisations. Why are we the ones going in farms? Why are we the ones going inside slaughterhouses to expose them? Why aren't the RSPCA there? Why aren't the Red Tractor there? Why aren't the organisations who pretend to care about animals going in and doing this? Even the facility we're stood outside of right now had FSA breaches back in June 2025. FSA stands for the Food Standard Agency. They came here, they logged 6 major non-compliances: improper stunning, improper movement of animals, causing extra alarm, harassment and distress. We're not here for welfare, we're here for animal rights. But the FSA came here and audited them, and they had 6 major and 18 minor non-compliances, and they got a satisfactory stamp. We'll come back in 3 months, and nothing ever happened. Now, we're not here saying that the FSA should adhere to it and that it should be done in this way. We're here saying that animals should have the right to their life and the right to their body, 2 very basic rights. But these things are put in place so the consumer never critically thinks or challenges it.
Someone said, yeah, but what if it's done in a humane way?
There is no humane way to do it. How would you ethically kill you? If I took you, someone who doesn't want to die, and you are having a subjective experience in your life, how is the right way to take you and take your life? There is no right way to do the wrong thing. You can't put humane in front of an injustice and then eradicate the injustice. I can't humanely traffic children. I can't humanely be racist. Just putting that word in front of it doesn't change the act to the individual.
Someone put, yeah, but I buy from local and free range to make sure the animals have the best lives.
Yeah, because you probably do care about animals, and you're someone who follows the RSPCA Assured Scheme, the organic, the free range. You're probably someone who would be willing to pay more for organic and free range because you're someone who does probably care about animals. But let me tell you something that you probably don't know. Subscribe and 1 for vegan, subscribe and 2 for non-vegan but you're a kind person listening to what we're saying, and subscribe and 3 if you're triggered by being kind to animals, and double tap the live stream. When we go to these slaughterhouses, something that's always stood out to us is that you get factory farm trucks like the one that's just turned up here, and you also, like yesterday when we were at ABP at Sturminster, you get smallholder trucks turn up, 2 cows in the back. So it doesn't matter what farm they come from, they're still killed by the same person with the same knife in the same facility. We're not here for welfare. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. We're not asking for greener grass, bigger cages and sharper knives. We're asking for animals to be left alone and realise that they're here with us, not for us.
Someone just put, animals can't properly think. They do not want to be alive as they don't know.
Right, well, that's just a silly statement, really. It's just your opinion. But let's say that you had a human with exactly the same cognitive ability as a chicken. Would it be okay to exploit the human and kill the human, and then to say, well, look, they only had the cognitive ability of a chicken, so it's fine? Of course not. We'd never use intelligence or ability to think as a justification as to whether you can be exploited or not. Sentience is the baseline. Does this individual suffer? Do they feel pain? Do they have a subjective experience of their life? If it's yes, then leave them alone.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, we should protect them more. We're on 281 likes right now.
Amazing. Let's get the 300 likes as fast as possible. Subscribe and let us know, 1, if you are vegan. Subscribe and let us know, 2, if you are not vegan, but you're a kind person and you're open-minded to what we're talking about and why we're here today. Subscribe and hit 3 if you are anti-vegan, if you're someone who's really upset by people saying, let's be kind to animals. Double tap the stream. Please share on your socials. We're not here to clash. We're here to talk to you and show you the truth. Nothing more.
She was actually nodding away. She actually was like
the lady
on
there
side.
was very in agreement with what we were saying.
Yeah, guys. So we're at a slaughterhouse right now. Are you okay? Do you need to switch?
I'm fine. Do you want me to switch in?
You're doing awesome.
Okay,
Just let me know if you want to
let's keep
switch.
going. More questions.
Yeah, guys. Everyone's saying, where do you get your protein?
Protein comes from plants, actually, guys. Like, I was surprised to know this too, because I didn't know this fact. But all protein comes from the amino acids in the soil during photosynthesis. What actually happens is plants create protein. All them plants then get fed to the animals who are exploited and murdered for burgers, chicken breasts, steaks, etc., etc. And then you eat the animals who have already had the amino acids. And this is why you're getting the second-hand protein. But why not go to the source, get clean, absorbable, pure protein, and not be responsible for the violence to all them animals?
Just want to do a quick shout out again. There's so many activists in here defending the animals fiercely and really doing an awesome job. They're all saying, watch Dominion. What's Dominion, Steve? Where can they watch it?
Yeah, if you go into the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner and press on the Linktree link, Dominion is the top link. Hit that top link and it will take you to YouTube. It's on YouTube, it's completely free. Go and watch it. You'll be absolutely shocked and surprised to find out what happens to all animals across all species, across all industries. But you owe it to yourself, and most of all, you owe it to the animals to go and watch it, because then you'll be educated to make an educated decision. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you are vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat. You gotta let us know if you're a non-vegan who's open-minded and listening. And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if being kind to tiny little chickens upsets you and triggers you so much that you can only put meat emojis into a chat, but we're trying to defend animals. Double tap the stream. Let's get to 300 plus likes. And please, if you can, hit the share button, share it on your socials. Let's bring people here. Let's educate them together. Let's show them the reality. This industry relies on secrecy. Let's show them the reality. Let's not let them have that secrecy. The whole time that we are silent, animals are suffering and dying. Let's work together to expose this violence.
Yeah, we're on 295 likes.
Let's
right
go,
now.
5 more.
Steve, people are saying you have no clue. You've never stepped on a farm in your life.
Yeah, well, you may think that, and I understand you jumping up and down and getting upset with the messenger, because it's hard sometimes to hear the truth. But go onto our other channel, our It's Mel and Steve channel, the purple logo channel, and go and see the investigations we've done. I've been on dairy farms, I've been on chicken farms, I've been on pig farms, I've stroked piglets' noses who were stuck in farrowing crates and tried to move babies away from their face who have died in front of them, who they can't get to. I've also seen a dairy cow giving birth at 2 in the morning, where we nearly had to call an investigation off because we thought she had died in the birthing bay by herself. Because guess what? Let me tell you this actually, but first of all, I need to know, subscribe and put 1 if you're a vegan. Put 1 in the chat. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not a vegan, but you're open-minded and you consider yourself a kind person. And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you get upset when people say, let's defend animals. Please double tap the stream and share on your socials. Now, when humans give birth most of the time in a maternity ward, surrounded by midwives, surrounded by surgical equipment to keep them clean, to keep them safe. And then once the baby's been born and delivered, the baby's wrapped up clean, and you have this lovely moment together. Guess what happens in the dairy industry? These cows were left in a shed by themselves to fend for themselves. If they died, they died. If the baby died, the baby died. Don't care. We'll all go to bed like normal, and when we wake up in the morning, we may have an extra 10 calves there. But you know what we're gonna do? If the calves have been born, first thing we do before morning coffee is go and steal them. Go and take them away from their mums, and let's go and put them in the little tiny hutches around the corner, because that breast milk, that's not for the babies. We're gonna make cheese, chocolate, we're gonna make yogurts, we're gonna sell it to the supermarket so people buy it. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're a vegan and you no longer are responsible for that violence. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're a kind person, but you're just not vegan yet. You're listening to what we're saying, and we really appreciate you being here, and we're not trying to judge you or clash with you whatsoever. Please know that. And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are someone who gets upset when we say let's be kind to little baby calves. And please double tap the stream. Let's get well over the 300 likes. And if you can, share on your socials, please do.
We're 307, so we're going for 350 now.
We're going for 350. Nice. Okay, guys, let's get that going as fast as possible. All right, I'm going to swap in with Mel.
You're smashing it. You did so well explained,
Thanks.
guys. But it's not easy to be at a slaughterhouse. It's not easy to witness these dear animals going in to be killed. Please subscribe at the top of this live stream. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Please subscribe. Put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Please subscribe. Put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream. Like, comment and share. Ask questions. We will be answering your questions today. A lot of people say, what about crop deaths? So I'm just going to go into this. Crop deaths, they are a thing, right? But they're not just there because vegans eat plants. And 90 billion land animals are forced into existence every single year who eat plants. So that's 90 billion land animals. There's 9 billion humans. If we didn't have animal agriculture, we'd only have to farm plants for humans, which is 9 billion, which is a lot smaller. So crop deaths would go down. Also, there's an ethical way to farm crops, but there's not an ethical way to farm animals who don't want to die. Subscribe at the top and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe at the top, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. Also, crop farmers are not all vegan, so they use excuses of crop farming to shoot pigeons, to shoot animals from the skies, to kill rodents. They're not looking at doing it in an ethical way because they don't care, but vegans do care. When the world changes and people are vegan, that won't be an issue anymore. Guys, subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Let us know who is in the room. Put a number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan.
Where are you? What was in the truck just a minute ago? What's going on?
Yeah, so guys, I'm at a slaughterhouse right now. Behind me, a truck of animals have just gone inside. This grey truck that you can see behind me is in the washdown area where they've taken dairy cows, weren't they? Dairy cows and beef cows from those industries to be stabbed in the throat. They looked really small, they look really little. They'll be looking out for help, they'll be begging for mercy. Even our David, who's in the live stream right now, our friend who works in a slaughterhouse who's now vegan, said even when the animals are in the slaughterhouse, they're still looking at the workers for mercy and they get given none. They all get stabbed in the throat. Behind me, that is what's happening right now in this place in front of everybody, but no one sees it. When you look at here, you don't see this as a slaughterhouse. You see this as just a building, right? Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. How many likes are we in now?
We're at 314 likes, 720 in the room.
314 likes.
Yeah.
Let's get to 350 as soon as possible. The likes help the algorithm to get out so the animals are seen. When the reason they go to a washdown area after they unload the animals is because the animals literally wee and poo everywhere because they go into fight and flight.
Uz Macappa says, I'm turning vegan now, thanks.
Absolute legend. Thank you so much for seeing the urgency of this war upon the animals. Thank you so much for defending the animals and holding yourself accountable to your actions. Someone who has been open-minded, who didn't realise perhaps what they were paying for, just like I didn't when I was 26 years old. We are not here to hate on anybody. We are here to defend animals, and when good people know, they change. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. We have been on farms. I've gone into a farm in the cold, in the darkness of night. The first thing I saw was a dead bin. We opened up this dead bin and we were confused because there was liquid and maggots everywhere. And we were like, what the hell is that? And it stunk. We opened up the second dead bin and then we could see decaying body parts of chickens, little baby chickens, and we realised the liquid were dismembered body parts that had been liquidised. Disgusting. That's before we even got inside the farm. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan.
JC for you, but why have you got so much rage?
I've got rage against the industry, not against you. I've got rage against what they do to animals because I've seen inside this place. I'm outside a slaughterhouse. They are literally decapitating animals behind me. I'm furious because I'm heartbroken. I'm furious and I'm raging because I'm so sad. Those emotions are very close. Anger and sadness are almost intertwined. I'm always so upset about what happens to animals, and I wish I knew sooner so I could have stopped, and that's why we're here showing you guys so that you can stop sooner. This needs to end. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream and keep liking this live.
327 likes right now. Where can people if they want to go vegan, where can they go? What do they do?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone in this live stream. Please keep liking this live. Get to 350 likes as soon as possible. As soon as possible. That's what the urgent... Sorry, I thought that was a truck then.
Yeah,
Urgently need 350 likes in the room. I'm at a slaughterhouse today, but you can see inside slaughterhouses and animal farming all around the world. In the description, watch Dominion on YouTube. There's Help to Go Vegan in there, by the way. Uzma Kappa, if you're in here, Help to Go Vegan on our link tree at the bottom, all about protein and everything that you need, free from the bodybuilding vegan who is a bodybuilder who is vegan.
What about if someone says, a vegetarian is what I can do, vegan's too extreme?
No, everyone can be vegan. Vegetarian is extreme. If you're vegetarian, you may have been caught by the net because we believe that the industry made the vegetarian word up. We believe that they made this up because people with compassion, when they see what happens to animals, automatically think vegetarian. But they don't realize that vegetarian is no different to someone who eats animals. It's just that you don't know about the eggs, the dairy, the wool, the leather, animal experiments industry as well. Remember, veganism is not a diet. Well, I'll explain more in a second. Please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at the top and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet because you don't know the industry. And 3, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share, and comment. Yeah, so veganism is not a diet. It relates to your diet because we don't oppress animals. We oppress animals in the food system. Just like if you're against racism and people were oppressed in the food system, if they're oppressed in this food system, people might get confused and say, oh, you don't eat people of color, or that. It's like, yeah, but also you don't wear them, use them, and oppress them in any way. It's the same as racism. This is speciesism, okay? If you're not vegan, you're speciesist against the animals, and they are exploited in the food system, dairy, eggs, meat, leather, wool, experimentations, and fish as well.
People saying the circle of life. It's worrying how many people base their ethics off of the song by Elton John.
Yeah.
It's a Disney song.
This is the thing, a lot of people are just 8-year-olds in big bodies. That's all you are. You're looking at the circle of life like, oh, we're supposed to have slaughterhouses. We're supposed to experiment on little puppies, beagle puppies in the UK. We're supposed to experiment on rats, chickens, cows, pigs. We're supposed to rip the skins of someone else, forcibly make someone pregnant. It's not the circle of life. That's demonic and twisted brain cells that have done that from our species. Demonic and twisted brain cells. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to rage bait and fight against you. We're here purely to show you the reality. Please subscribe at the top. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share, and comment. I've stood out a slaughterhouse where I've witnessed little baby calves this big from the dairy industry go to slaughter. I've heard their cries.
Interesting how many people, when you were talking about the other things, were against animal testing. People saying, yeah, I am against animal testing, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, if you're against animal testing but you're not vegan, then you're being a hypocrite of your own morals, okay? Because animal testing, animals in slaughterhouses, it's all the same. It's all animal oppression, like bullfighting and things like that as well. It's horrific. I was always against bullfighting, but I wasn't vegan. I was against someone stabbing a dog, but I wasn't vegan. I had no idea what I was actually paying for because I was disconnected from the products that I had to the victim.
Starry Norbert, thanks for this comment. We touched on it earlier, but I know this is one close to Mel's heart, so she'll be glad to explain this to you. Starry Norbert put, how is wool bad?
Okay, how is wool bad? Yeah. Thank you so much for that question. I didn't know that wool was exploitative. So basically, sheep have been genetically modified. Nah, it's not a truck. Sheep have been genetically modified to grow loads of wool and they don't molt. But the natural sheep do molt. Just like how your dogs and cats will molt in winter and summer, so does sheep. Sheep, because of this, get something called fly strike. That means that loads of flies in their back end get caught there where they have their, like, they poo and wee and stuff, they get fly strike. Let me explain more in just a second. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and keep asking questions. So what they do when the lamb is a little baby, they're also forcibly impregnated, by the way. When the lamb is a baby, they put them in a contraption. They put them in a contraption where their arms and legs are tied down. They then take this blade and they cut their like back of their leg area here and here to make it scarred. They don't have any anesthetic or painkiller. They're literally bleeding and they're crying. Then the farmer drops them on the floor and then he puts a elastic band around their tail sheep are supposed to have long tails like dogs. I had no idea about this until I went to a sanctuary, and then I learned about it. I'll explain more in just a second. If you subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Please subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. Yeah, I didn't know that they have these really amazing long tails naturally, but in the farming industry, they don't look after the animals properly. So what they do is they put an elastic band, tie elastic band around their tail so the blood flow stops in their tail, which means over time their tail actually rots and drops off. Okay, so you'll see sheep. Next time you go to a field and you see sheep, they'll have tails like this big. It's because they've been mutilated. Again, without any anesthetic or anything, it's purely laziness from the farmer. They then, when they cannot produce enough wool, they all get killed in a slaughterhouse. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. If anybody is a number 2 and you are thinking, you know what, I don't know what really they're talking about right now. They're at a slaughterhouse, I don't understand. Go to the link in the description and watch something called Dominion on YouTube. We also have activists in the live stream right now. We have ex-slaughterhouse workers in here as well who you can ask questions and they'll answer. Please keep liking this live stream. How many likes are we on?
349.
349. One more to
350. 350.
Amazing. Legend who just did that. Let's get to 400 likes. I think 400 is our record for likes if we get to that point. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Keep liking, sharing and commenting.
What are people going to see in like the next 10, 15 minutes staying here?
Yeah, guys, I'm at a slaughterhouse today. They are killing cows from the beef and the dairy industry right now. You're going to be seeing more trucks come in with animals who want to live, who value their life just as much as you want to live. They want to live just as much. Their life is all they have. They've been commodified to slaves. Okay, they come from a slave camp that people call that people call farms. To me, they're concentration camps, and to the animals, they're concentration camps in my opinion. When they get taken inside here, they get loaded onto a truck. They can be on for up to 8 hours, by the way. Often you get what's called a downed dairy cow. Let me explain what that is in just a moment. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. I'm at a slaughterhouse right now. Behind me, they kill cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry. So what I was saying was about down dairy cows. Basically, cows have been genetically modified to grow so much milk that their udders are so big that they can hardly walk. They then get that milk intensively milked from them. Then they get pregnancy forced upon them again to make them produce milk again. Then they have their babies taken away from them and killed. They cry for their babies. Dairy industry is a very torturous industry for those dear mother cows and all animals involved. When she can no longer stand up, or she can no longer produce a baby or enough milk that the farmer deems profitable, she is taken to a slaughterhouse, where she is so weak and depleted of nutrients, she sometimes can't stand for 8 hours and she falls to the ground. They sometimes will kill cows on the trucks. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, keep liking.
We've got some amazing activists. David keeps putting in here as well. Again, the reminder to watch Dominion.
Legend.
Where can they watch that?
Yeah, absolutely legend. So please go and watch Dominion. It's in our link in our description. It's the documentary that you wish you saw sooner.
Something's happening.
Maybe that truck might be coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe that truck might be coming. Oh, no. There's so many trucks around here. It's constant, guys. Keep looking this way because that's where the trucks will be coming. Subscribe to be in with a chance to win your morals back. Subscribe to put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe to put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. If you're someone who's against animal experimentation, why are you against the experimentation of animals but you're not against the slaughter of animals?
We got 372 likes right now.
372?
Yeah. Why do they stand there and rush the trucks in?
Yeah, so guys, I'm at a slaughterhouse right now. Keep liking this live. You guys are doing amazing. Let's get to 400 likes. There's security here. The moment we turn up, they run out the building because we're here on public land just filming, okay? This gate is usually on an automated system, which goes across quite slow. The reason they put this on a manual system, okay, because then they both run the gate forward and back because when the animals come, they literally leg it to open the gate to get the animals in as fast as possible so that you guys don't see them. They've noticed that when we show people the animals' faces, people change on the spot and they hate it. Because when you change, you stop paying their wage. So they're doing everything they can to get a wage, but you should never be able to make profit of someone else's loss. You should never be able to make profit of someone else's oppression and exploitation. Please subscribe to be in with a chance to win your morals back that you had when you were a child. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, keep liking this live.
We're on 387 likes right now. What would you say if people say, look, I'm not going to go vegan, but you know what? I'm going to buy local, free-range, organic from local farmers.
I would say that you've been brainwashed by the industry to make you think that's better. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. A local, small holding, it's all exactly the same. To you, it's local. To someone else, it's a factory farm, the same building, the same place. It's just that the farmer will tell you he loves their animals, right? The farmer will come out and say, oh, we love our girls. Yeah, no you don't. You love the profit that they make from you. Animal farmers, the small local farmers, when we see them come here, and by the way, big farm trucks come here and small farm trucks come here from both places, all the places are the same. They get cut in the throat, the same knife, the same person. It's all horrific, there's no right way to do the wrong thing. But what we witness here, I'll tell you in just a second. Subscribe to put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe to put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And subscribe to put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and comment. Keep liking this live stream. You'll see on these lives, by the way, if you keep coming back on these lives, even today it might happen. When a small holding truck arrives at a slaughterhouse, you'll see the abuse that they give us. You'll see the abuse they give the cows. You'll see that they already have sticks to prod them and hit them in their trucks. Yesterday, I saw two vans that were pulling a small holding trailer that had children in that car. Like a family day out to the slaughterhouse. Shameful and disgusting. In fact, one of the animal farmers even hit his kid in the back afterwards. Shameful. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment.
Hot Dog 300 put, what happens if no one eats the animals?
What happens if no one eats the animals?
Yeah, I think it's a genuine question.
Or oppresses them, because remember, this is not just about meat.
The comment is, what happens if no one eats them? But
Yeah.
let's go with whatever you want to answer.
Yeah, so if no one consumes animal products, the demand, more support. The demand for animal products goes down, okay? So it's not gonna happen overnight, sadly. So what will happen is when the demand starts dropping, so will the supply. They'll start dropping the supply because no one's buying the animal products. They're not making any money. Just like any business, if I sold oranges and apples, if you only bought oranges, I would continue selling my oranges and then I wouldn't sell apples anymore because I'd say that's a failed business. In fact, these are failed businesses, but you know what? The government helps them out. The dairy industry has subsidized 90% of their money, of their profit, they get from our taxpayers' money. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live and keep liking this live.
There's a lot of people in here saying that you're lying. Where can they see this for themselves?
Yeah, oh, by the way, I always think that you should always think that people are lying, so you look at the facts, because this is how animals are oppressed in the first place, because you have believed their lie without questioning it. I would not come out here to a slaughterhouse to lie. I hate being here. I'm just trying to defend the animals. I have no reason to lie. Please go to the link in the description and watch Dominion. Go and see what happens for yourself. Go to a slaughterhouse and witness those dear animals going in. But even if, say, like, I don't know what you think I'm lying about, everything I said is factually true. It's not my opinion. It's the facts of the standard the standard practice of what happens to animals. It's their highest welfare I'm talking about. I'm not talking about cruelty cases. That's horrific. What else happens? I'm talking about standard practice. But there's no right way to take away someone's life who wants to live. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. How many likes, Steve?
401 likes.
401 like. Let's get to 450 as soon as possible. Keep liking this live stream. Keep subscribing to comment. Please
More
ask
animals
questions.
will be coming.
Yeah. So there was a truck full of animals that came just a moment ago that we witnessed going into this evil place. Don't forget those animals behind me. Don't forget those animals behind me who are being killed in a slaughterhouse as we speak, crying for their life, bellowing of mercy. No one's going to give them mercy inside there. In fact, they will look into their eyes and they'll see that they're crying out and they want mercy, yet they're getting knife jabbed into their throat and they'll be decapitated. 20% of cows go to slaughter pregnant.
Why don't the public know? Like when we did the pig gas chamber questionnaire, why don't the public know?
Yeah, the public don't know because they don't want you to know the reality. Like I always say, here is what the industry does here. And then they have billions of pounds for marketing, which they put in front of the industry. So here they're mutilating animals, they're cutting off their tails and their teeth and their everything, their body parts, and they're telling you it's humane. Oh, what about organic, free range, local? You're then the public. You only see their propaganda. So you think that this is okay, you think we need to do it. Let me explain more in just a second. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and subscribe. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share, and comment.
Zachary Grittins, but guys, either way they're going to kill the animals. We can't stop them.
No, these animals are forced into existence to keep up with demand. If you are demanding animal products, you're removing their product, their flesh from the shelf for their meat, their eggs, their dairy, their wool, and then they're going to replace them. So what they do is they force the animals into existence. These animals are not naturally breeding with each other. They're forced into existence, okay? They make the animals pregnant, they take their babies away and kill their babies, and then they use their breast milk or their flesh or whatever they're gonna use them for. It's all interlinked, by the way. Like leather is not a byproduct. Eggs are not a byproduct. Feathers are not a byproduct. They're a co-product. They're both used and exploited the same way. All the egg-laying hens go to a gas chamber. Most of them go to a gas chamber at 18 months old, but all go to a slaughterhouse. Please subscribe, double tap this live stream and like and share. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. How many likes now?
420 likes, 600 in the room.
420 likes, let's get that to 450. The reason we're asking for the likes is because that helps the algorithm get pushed out to more people. We don't care about like getting likes for ourselves or anything like that. We're just trying to do the optimal thing for the animals. When people see their faces coming to slaughter, they go vegan.
We're here just trying to show the public the truth, but why don't the industry want the public to see it? Why don't they want us here?
Yeah, so we're here with a camera, right, just showing you the reality. But the industry are scared of us because they don't want you to see the truth. The reason they don't want you to see the truth is because if you saw what they do to animals, you wouldn't pay their wage. It's all supply and demand. They know that if you saw Pignorant, if you watched the documentary Dominion in our description, they would know that everybody goes vegan after watching that. Everybody. Because the public don't know what they do. And that's designed. They've been, what do you say, Steve, normally? They've been designed to be deceitful.
Yeah.
Deceitful by design is what you say. I think that's my favourite saying that you say, because they do. The RSPCA Assured scheme hired a biscuit marketer to be the chairman of the RSPCA Assured scheme. Okay, the RSPCA Assured have been corrupted by Freedom Foods, that's what they used to be called, because they wanted to steal the RSPCA Assured name to make money off the body parts of animals, such as in gas chambers. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment and subscribe. Go and watch Pignorant in our description to see the corruption through money between all these organisations. The RSPCA Assured scheme 2024 made £4 million purely off profiting from the body parts, the flesh secretions of animals and gas chambers from assuring farms. The Animal Rising went into over 200 farms to show people the reality of what RSPCA Assured farms looks like. We investigated farms, Steve, do you remember that farm? Award-winning farm, award-winning everywhere.
Yeah.
And that farm broke my heart that night. The little chicken I named Tiny as I walked into this farm. Let me explain Tiny's story in a moment. Please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. I went into this farm with Steve and we walked into this barn and there were chickens, meat chickens. They're called broiler chickens. They've been genetically modified to grow really large in a short space of time. They should be these little yellow chicks, but they're massive. They're massive and their legs break underneath them. So when I walked in, all the chickens were afraid. They tried to run away from us. But there was a little chicken who I named Tiny in the middle. She was smaller than the others, but she could hardly walk. And I sat down next to her and she started to limp over to me. She then was chirping at me. And I was like, what's she doing? What's she doing? Please Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. I'll explain more of that in a second. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Keep liking the live. How many likes have we got?
430 likes, 700 in the room.
Let's get 450 likes as soon as possible. Tiny's story breaks my heart, so I struggle sometimes to tell her story because I feel physical pain. So she was walking over to me chirping, hardly being able to walk. I was wondering what she was like chirping at. She then showed me that she could not reach the water, okay? Because when chickens poo and wee on the floor of the barns, the floor gets higher. So what they do is they move the water out higher. It's like a big bar that goes across the entire farm. They move that up and move that up and move that up the older the chickens get. She couldn't reach. And it broke my heart because I was like, it's not only her that can't reach the water. I looked around and thousands of them were in that same position. Keep double tapping the live stream, like and share. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. If they were to make 42 days old, 42 days in that barn, that evil, disgusting barn that says award-winning, they'd be loaded onto a truck and they were taken to a gas chamber to suffocate to death. So the chickens that you consume are disabled baby chickens who couldn't reach the water, who struggled for their life and are suffocated to death.
Always shocks me. You're saying that and we're trying to defend baby animals here by saying let's be kind. And you get comments like this. You get Mr. Truptic. I hope you get arrested by trespassing and sentenced to pay all you ever win with this piece of shit. And I hope that you suffer as much or even more than the animals you are trying to defend.
Okay, so it's just a trigger little crybaby troll needs a hug from his mum. When people are trying to defend animals, you'd rather the one protecting the animals is sentenced to prison rather than the one portraying these evil acts of stabbing and mutilating and killing animals in gas chambers and with knives. You rather them be free. By the way, walking onto farms is not a trespass, it's a civil matter, it's not illegal in the UK. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. The people who usually say things like that are usually the animal farmers themselves.
Anyone coming to this live stream today, what are you doing, what have you seen, and where can they get other resources?
Yeah, so for other resources, please go to the link in the description and watch Dominion, and there's also Help to Go Vegan in there as well. Go and have a look at those links for yourself. We're not here to rage bait, we're not here to hate on you guys. We're in fact just here as a friend to tell you something is going on and you don't know it, but I've seen it. So please open your mind and open your heart to understand that you have been lied to and that you could be wrong. I'm at a slaughterhouse today. I hate being here. It breaks my heart when I wake up in the morning and I think, here we go, to a slaughterhouse again. I have to prepare myself. It's like doing this as you go into battle, just trying to defend the animals because I'm not the victim. I can go home, I can cry, I can be upset, I can feel depressed, but I can sleep, come out again and fight. The animals don't have that luxury. They don't have that luxury of freedom because they're slaves. They're being oppressed and used and commodified. Every single cow in the dairy industry have pregnancy forced upon them. Every single cow.
People just putting random locations in. I'm just going to time them out because it's just boring for the chat.
Yeah, guys, make this chat respectful. There's people in here who actually are listening. Stop spamming the chat. If you're spamming, you might be putting their time out, but we don't want to do that. Please double tap the live stream, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe at the top of the screen to put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream, like and share.
452 likes. Isaac Drysdale said, which gas are you claiming animals are being gassed with?
I'm not claiming, it's facts. They're CO2 gas chambers. They burn from the inside out. Go and watch Pignorant on Amazon Prime. In the UK, there are so many gas chambers. That's the majority of the way animals are killed. Chickens at 42 days old are sentenced to a gas chamber to be killed. Piglets that you call bacon are forced into CO2 gas chambers where they burn from the inside out. Watch Pignorant on Amazon Prime to see the reality. I didn't know this happens. I used to pay for this as well and I didn't know. I had no idea. But it broke my heart when I found out. I wish that I knew sooner. I'm so grateful to Joey Carbstrong, an incredible activist who showed us the reality. That he did videos telling people and showing people because I saw inside of a slaughterhouse. I used to drink cow's milk a lot. I used to eat cow's cheese a lot, and I'm so ashamed because I was someone who was a bit funny with like the flesh of animals. I couldn't touch touch it, and if I had, I can't even talk about when I used to eat it, it makes me feel so sick, but I used to eat more cow's cheese and things than anything else, and I had no idea that cow's milk was only for baby cows. Only for baby cows. How the hell have these industries indoctrinated us and brainwashed us to think we need cow's milk? We're humans. I didn't know that all cows are killed inside slaughterhouses. Please subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and comment. How many likes are we on now?
We're on 461 likes.
Wow, let's get the 500 likes as soon as possible. Guys, thank you so much for being in here, liking this live stream, being open. The activists, keep any vegans and activists in here, please keep putting like this live because the likes get the algorithm out.
I can see all the activist names, all the vegans putting the 1s in here as well.
Wow,
loads
legends.
of support, and
Legends.
also loads of number 2s. It was really productive.
Awesome.
Why is that truck in there for so long?
Yeah, it's been in there ages. They tend to be in here ages, don't they? So this truck in here, this is the slaughterhouse for anyone who's just joined this live stream, by the way. We're trying to defend the animals being stabbed in the throat right now and all around the world in concentration camps. They unloaded cows into this place called a slaughterhouse. They're now washing this truck down because cows, when they're afraid, go into fight and flight mode just like we would, and they defecate everywhere. They poo and wee everywhere, so they're cleaning that truck now from the feces.
That one kid put, if we can't have cow's milk, what milk can we have? Are women gonna make us milk? No, it's unethical, lad.
Are women going to make us milk?
Yeah, like...
No, okay, so the only breast milk that you should have is from your mum or from a consenting other mother who maybe wants to help out if your mum can't produce the milk. Just have plant milk. There's literally rice milk, oat milk, soy milk, potato milk, pea milk. Just don't exploit animals. It's not about what you can't have, it's about not taking from somebody else and exploiting them and killing them for something that you do not need. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share, and comment. We're not here to hate on you. I'm at a slaughterhouse just to try and defend the animals with everything I have. I'm heartbroken standing here as I hear their cries. I'm heartbroken as we see their eyes as they go in this place. Please subscribe at the top of this live stream, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment. How many likes now?
We're up to 475 likes.
Amazing.
What about when people say that cows aren't killed for dairy?
Yeah, and I would have said the same. I would have said the same. 26 years of my life, I said I loved animals. I didn't know that they were exploited. Every single cow in the dairy industry gets forced pregnant. What happens is when she's sexually mature enough, she gets put in something called a cattle crush. It's basically a cage that goes around her where she cannot exit. Please keep double tapping the live stream, like, share, comment, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and subscribe. 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet because you don't know the industries, and subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. So that when she's in that cattle crush, the farmer, they force themselves into her with his arm. They put this glove on. They put themselves inside the cow. They then put a metal rod inside her and inject her with bull semen to make her pregnant. A few months later, they put her back into that cattle crush to see if she's pregnant. So they put their arm back in her. To me, that would be something called grape without the G, if that happened to me. And that's exactly the same action happening to her. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, keep liking and sharing and commenting.
Edward 20 official, or Edward 2 official. Some people are going too far, like literal little kids. I do understand being vegan, but like milk has calcium, which is good. Meat has protein, which is good. So what is the actual logic?
The logic is to be vegan. So calcium isn't good from cows. In fact, it actually makes your environment too acidic. It's too acidic for your environment, so it uses phosphate calcium from your bones to neutralize the acidity because our bodies need it to be in an alkaline state. It actually makes your bones brittle. In fact, the places who drink the least amount of dairy, like Asia and places like that, have the least amount of fractures as well. It's a direct correlation. Protein only comes from plants. A lot of people think protein comes from animals because the industry has marketed that to you. That's not your fault that you don't know that. We didn't know that. Do you remember, Steve, when we saw inside of a slaughterhouse, the first thing that you said is, oh, I can't be a bodybuilder because of protein, but I don't care. But actually, all protein comes from plants. So actually, in fact, we got stronger, healthier. But that was only and only a benefit. I would have been vegan if I died 10 years earlier because I can't pay for someone else to be oppressed because I lived. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. This is a slaughterhouse behind me.
But also the logic is just to not be the person responsible for exploiting and hurting animals.
Yeah, being vegan's a non-action. It's not like you have to do anything else. It's literally a non-action to be vegan. It's just a normal person who doesn't oppress animals. It's a bit like if you saw a dog walking down the street, you wouldn't say that person is like a vegan because they're like, oh, they didn't kick the dog. You say that's a normal person, right? But what people are doing is if that dog was up behind the wall and they're being stabbed, then you'd be saying that's wrong, right? That's what vegans are doing. They're behind this wall being stabbed.
Where can people see what happens inside slaughterhouses?
Yeah, go to the link in the description and watch Dominion on YouTube. See for yourself what actually happens, because when you see, you'll know. You'll know the why, okay, and you'll understand fully. Until you actually see, you can't make up how bad it is. You can't make up what happens to these dear animals. You don't even know that mother cows, mother pigs right now are in farrowing crates. Do you know what a farrowing crate is? I've been in and I've witnessed these mother pigs trapped.
We're on 487 likes. Let's get to 500 likes and then explain what a farrowing crate is at 500 likes.
Yeah, 500 likes, I'm going to explain what a farrowing crate is. Keep liking, commenting, sharing. Please subscribe to comment 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe to comment 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. I'm pointing up because on the live stream the subscribe button's just at the top. Please put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, keep liking, sharing, commenting. When we get to 500 likes, I'll explain what a farrowing crate is. We've been inside these places. We actually took a non-vegan undercover inside this place as well, so I'll explain that story. Did you know that at 6 months old, pigs are forced into CO2 gas chambers? Did you know that all male chicks, they don't produce eggs, they're classed as a waste products, they get macerated on day 1? This is standard practice. Standard practice from wherever you buy eggs, you're paying for baby chicks to be macerated alive. It sounds so extreme, right? And it sounds like, how could this happen? I thought the same, but I've seen it. I've seen it, I've been at a hatchery. Anyone in the UK, you know Portons Park? You know the entrance to Portons Park as you go in? On the right-hand corner, there's a pub. On the left, there's a hatchery. That's what they're literally doing in this hatchery. They either put them in gas chambers, put them in bags to suffocate, or they blend them up alive.
LS Noob says, but they're already dead.
They're already dead? That's because you paid for them to be killed. Please put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. It's supply and demand. They wouldn't kill these animals if you didn't demand their body products, their body parts. It's a product to the industry. This isn't something that you need. You don't need meat, eggs, you don't need meat, eggs, dairy, leather, wool, or any animals to be experimented on or used, or horse racing or greyhound racing or bullfighting. You don't need any of them. There's no necessity. So there's no justification. Shut these places down, stand up for the animals with everything you have, be vegan at the very least. It's a non-action, you just don't harm animals.
7 away from the 500 explanation.
7 away. When we get to 500 likes, I'm gonna explain what farrowing crates are. People will never see a farrowing crate unless you come to one of these live streams, unless you know an animal rights activist or you are one, you investigate farms. You'll never see them. I had no idea what they were. They're moving. I feel
It looks like something's happening, doesn't it?
I feel like they might have just turned the engine on.
Yeah, something's happening.
They're getting ready. You can feel it, you can sense it, you can feel the evil in this place. It's disgusting, it stings. For context, anyone who's never been to a slaughterhouse, it smells like heavy, metallic, hot blood and guts and fear. Disgusting, disgusting. Now you're gonna see a truck that had animals on today who have been unloaded. How old were those babies? How old were those babies? How could you do this to them? How do you live with yourself? An empty truck now because he's unloaded the animals in this place to be killed. Cows from the dairy industry were on that truck and now they're going to be stabbed in the throat. Cow's milk is only for baby cows. It's not your fault that you don't know this. I used to pay for cow's milk, but I had no idea that cows literally have to be made pregnant to produce milk. They're mothers, just like your mother. Imagine having your mother in the maternity ward give birth to a male, taking her male away and stealing her breast milk and then killing her when she can't produce another baby. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share, and please subscribe and comment and like
How does it feel every time you see empty trucks leave?
Sorry, how does it feel?
How does it feel every time you see the empty trucks leave?
It's like an empty heart as well, isn't it? You see them come in, you see their little eyes, like you say, when they might have thought maybe it's Liberation Day.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to be liberated from this concentration camp today that they've been so exploited and abused on. But no, it gets even worse. They get sentenced to a slaughterhouse to experience a knife in the throat and be decapitated. That's what happens. It breaks my heart every time I'm here. It's literally so sad. Imagine someone you love going behind the gates of evil that you can't even save them from. People are just walking by, people are just running their businesses here. They don't even know the violence that happens inside here. They don't know that literally the floor is run with the blood, the same colour as your blood, by the way, on the floors of this place from innocent individuals who didn't do anything wrong.
How do you think people would act if we were stood here and trying to stop them put dogs inside there?
I would like to think people would be crowded here defending them, but in the UK there is MBR, Acres, who breed 2,000 puppies every single year for experimentations, and there's been a protest there for 5 years. I wish there was more people going there fighting for those poor puppies. In Wisconsin, there was just about 2,000 activists who went to go and liberate the puppies from Ridgeland Farms, which is now closing down. They got 2,000 beagle puppies out and saved them from brutal experimentations. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. We're 5 away from 500 likes. About 500 likes, I'm going to tell you about farrowing crates. Stay on this live stream. This is the life and death live stream. Please don't come on this live stream with hate. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say you're a bad person. I'm not here to rage bait or hate on you. I'm here to actually say thank you for being on this live stream. Thank you for giving up time today to be here, to listen to our message for the animals. The animals are literally inside and there's a war being portrayed upon them right now. They're being forced inside kill floors, inside gas chambers, on concentration camps right now as we speak. They're being mutilated and they need you to defend them. This is a serious issue and this is the most urgent issue of our time. Please double tap the live stream, like, share, comment, subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream. How many likes? 2 likes away. 2 likes away from 500 likes, and when we get to 500, I'm going to tell you
I got
what
a feeling that
farrowing
there's
crates are.
trucks coming any minute. I just got this like inkling, you know?
Yeah, we've been outside slaughterhouses for over a year now. Every single week, we know their patterns, we know what they do, we know how they act before a truck comes on. We get the feeling. You can feel the aura of fear coming down the road when they come here. Cows can smell up to 5 miles away.
504 likes.
504 likes. Thank
go.
you guys for liking this live. You keep liking the live. We'll be telling you more and more information as we go. Farrowing crates. A farrowing crate is something that they force mother pigs in. Pregnant mother pigs go in these farrowing crates to give birth, okay? They put them in there, they're on concrete floors, award-winning, by the way, this is standard practice in pig farming. They cannot turn around. The crate is the same size as them, and in fact, when myself and Steve went inside this place, that mother pig was pregnant, and she had that bar jabbed into her, didn't she? She couldn't move.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable. Imagine being pregnant on a concrete floor for 5 to 6 weeks as you give birth to your babies. There was also rats inside there eating babies alive. Rats eating your babies alive. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream, like, share, and keep commenting, keep liking.
Why do they use farrowing crates?
Yeah, they use farrowing crates because they say, oh, it's to make sure that they don't kill as many babies, like the mothers when they lay down to not kill the babies. At sanctuaries, when these mother pigs are rescued, they don't put them in farrowing crates. They leave them to an environment because mother pigs love their babies. Did you know that pigs will actually bring and find flowers for their babies and put them in the corner of their room just for aesthetic reasons? Did you know that mother pigs sing to their babies as they go to sleep? But in these dungeons, they basically have them so they can monitor how many piglets that they give birth to, how many have died, and how many they have, because if that mother pig doesn't give birth to enough babies, sentenced to a gas chamber for her. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe at the top, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and comment.
Citrus put, as a vegan, just let people eat meat if they want to. It's not your business.
You're not a vegan. If you can say that you're not a vegan, no vegan would ever say that. You're someone who's pretending to be vegan so you come with some clout or whatever.
See
In
if I can
fact,
see.
this is a war. Okay? This is a war faced upon the most innocent, gentle, childlike beings on the planet. What about if we said to child traffickers, oh, you know what, it's fine, well, I'll just mind my business. I won't even try and defend these poor children because that's just not my business. You would do the right thing. Where's your morals? Where's your heart? Go home and grow a compassionate heart.
Can you see the animals in there?
Can you see them?
I can't see them on the screen.
Let me have a look on my phone. If you speak for a minute, Steve.
Guys, subscribe for one of the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, then subscribe and put 3 in the chat. If you're triggered by being kind to animals, let us know. Any luck? Can you see?
So you're on this bit right now where there's like the hay bit. There's a kill floor workers there. There you go. There's the layerage. Yep, cows are there. You can see the cows. See the cows inside there. See them moving around. Their poor little heads in there. Mother cows from the dairy industry walking about in that dungeon of evil. Absolute dungeon of evil. You're looking inside a slaughterhouse right now. You're looking inside at the victims about to be stabbed in the throat. They're going to be decapitated today because people are brainwashed thinking that they're baby cows. We're not baby cows. We shouldn't be drinking the breast milk intended for someone else's baby. But these industries have lied to you. They've mugged you off. They've lied to you. They brainwashed you from birth. Just like how you were easily brainwashed to think Father Christmas was real, they've done the same with this. You've been brainwashed to think humane slaughter exists. You've been brainwashed to think that animal farmers are the backbone of society. You've been brainwashed to think free range is okay. It's not. It's all horrific, it's evil, and it's violent. Watching those poor little faces in there. That's why we're here. Not for us. I'm here purely to be a voice for them. I'm not here for me. I don't care about me at all. I just want to stop the oppression for them. I'm all they have. We're all they have as vegan and animal rights activists. They don't have anybody else. If you say you're an animal lover and you're not vegan, they don't even have you. They don't have you. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat. If you are anti-vegan, double tap the live stream, like, share and comment. Can I switch in with you? I think my voice is a bit...
Yeah, sure.
This guy just needs a break for a sec.
You got the slow-mo as well?
Yeah.
And you need the...
Here you go.
Just in case
Keep liking
that
this live
comes
stream,
back
guys.
out.
Thank you.
All right, you got
Thanks,
it? You're all set? Okay. Guys, subscribe, put 1 in the chat. We need to know. We need to know who you are, where you stand. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're a vegan already. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not a vegan but you're open-minded. So while we're here today and you're a kind person. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you think that you get triggered over saying let's be kind to little chickens. Double tap the stream, please like and share on all your socials so we can get more and more people here. Remember, our objective today is not to clash with non-vegans, to point fingers and say you're a bad person. It's to come alongside you and show you the truth. And we need as many people to see the truth as possible.
I believe the egg and dairy industry is the most hidden because it comes up so often. Sid put, if I'm a vegan, why can't I drink milk?
Okay, Sid, thanks for your comment. Thanks for being here. There are dairy cows inside the slaughterhouse. You just saw on the live stream just then, when we put the camera up over into the layerage, that's what it's called. There are dairy cows in there. They are specifically in there because people buy milk or cheese or yogurts or chocolate made from cow's milk. The dairy industry is a standalone industry. I'll tell you about it after you put 1 in the chat for being vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, and double tap the stream and share it on your socials. The industries that exploit animals for their breast milk force pregnancies on the mums. They don't just have babies and just get to stay with their baby and we take a little bit of excess milk and they eat more grass and then we have more and more milk. That's the industry that you're told, but it's not the industry that is in reality. They force the pregnancy upon the mums. Mums carry their baby for 9 months. When babies are born in the dairy industry, they're instantly removed from their mums, whether they're male or female. Males are killed because they don't produce milk. Females go into isolation hutches until they're sexually mature enough to go back on the line and be made pregnant themselves. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded while we're here. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're triggered by being kind to animals. Please double tap.
We're on 504 likes. Let's get to 550.
Yeah, keep the likes coming, guys. Look, we've seen a truck come past us today. More will be coming. Security's still there. The gate's still on. The manual, so we know that they're doing things. We know that security and slaughterhouses phone the trucks and advise them before they come here. So we know what goes on, but we're not going to let that deter us. We're here today for the animals, because if you guys here, if the number 2's in the room, right, the people with a kind heart who are listening who aren't vegan, If we can't convince you to go vegan, then the animals have no hope. You are the only hope that they have of this oppression ever ending. But the sad reality is the animals that you have seen on your screen today, they will be dead by the time you go to bed tonight. Not just because they're old or they need help or they're not very well. They're going to be murdered. They're going to be stabbed to death because people have demanded that the shelves are restocked with their body parts.
Brian Morgan 3392. I'll always be a #1. Green hearts.
Amazing. Brian, thank you, and I can completely agree, and I know Mel does, and I know many vegans in the chat will agree with you. Always #1, vegan for the animals for the rest of our lives, and also we will dedicate our lives to defending the animals every single day. Every single thing we do will be for defending the animals, because evil only prevails when good people stand by, and we're seeing a huge influx of good people not standing by anymore. Subscribe and hit 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and hit 2 in the chat if you are not vegan but you're a kind person and you're open-minded as to why vegans are live streaming outside of a slaughterhouse. And subscribe and hit 3 if you are triggered by people saying, let's stop forcing pregnancies on cows and stealing their mums. Double tap the live stream. And guys, we want to make sure that you share this on your socials. I want to just add on to this. Go to the link in the description, right? 3 dots in the top right hand corner, or if you're watching this live stream after it's uploaded, just hit the description of this live stream. Go into the Linktree link. Now the top link is Dominion. Click on that and watch that documentary. That will tell you everything that you need to know. The one underneath it says Pignorant. Click that and watch Pignorant. That will tell you all about the pig industry and what you need to know. And then go to the bottom of the screen and click Help to Go Vegan, and go and get help from John the Bodybuilding Vegan and the Vegan Squad for free on how you can become vegan, because by the time you've watched them 2 documentaries, you know why you should be vegan. And all you need is the questions to the how.
Just a reminder for everybody why we're here is for these dear animals who need you to be vegan. They've gone inside this slaughterhouse, they've been killed, they've been decapitated, their blood has been spilled on this floor. They need you to be vegan. Please defend them. Watch Dominion, please subscribe.